Hi there, this is Tammy with Tammy's Stamping Therapy, and today I'm bringing you a video showing how to make a custom box. I've had a couple of requests for this, and so I thought I'd do a video. There are a couple of different ways to make the box, so this video will be one of them, and then over the next couple of weeks I will show you the different ways to do the box. For me, the boxes can be either short or tall, and if it's short I make it different than if it's a tall box. So today's going to be a short box. I have this lemony flutter cuticle butter from Lush, and I thought it would be fun to make a box for it. The way that I start out is by determining the size the size of my item. So I don't know if you can see this on here. I'll take this ruler, and I laid it down by the ruler, or I laid it down on the ruler, and I see that it's not quite 3 inches, and it's circular, so it's going to be 3 by 3, and then it is 1.5 inches tall. So I'll show you how I do my calculations for that. I start out with how big is my item that I want to put in the box, and then for this one I want to add some space to put some tissue paper in there. So I'm going to add 1/4 inch to the height and 1/4 inch to the width. So the box is going to be 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 wide, or square, and then it's going to be 1 3/4 inches tall. Sorry, I'm having issues this morning with my voice. So from there, I draw a little grid. This is my box bottom, and it tells me 3 3/4. It really helps when they're square. It makes it easy. 3 1/4. This is going to be the actual insides of the box, and these are the sides that are going to fold up. So 3 1/4 is the box size, and then the sides are 1 3/4. So I need to add 3 1/4 to 1 3/4 plus 1 3/4. I've done that over here, and the size that I end up with is 6 3/4 inches square for the bottom of my box. For the top, I'm going to add just 1/8 of an inch to each of these two measurements. So instead of 6 3/4 by 6 3/4, it's going to be 6 7/8 by 6 7/8. And then both pieces are going to look like this. Both pieces are going to be scored at 1 3/4 inches on all 4 sides. Then I'm going to add designer paper to the top and the sides. So I'm taking 1/4 inch off of this right here, and the box top is going to be 3 3/8. So when I subtract 1/4 of an inch, I get 3 1/8. So 3 1/8 by 3 1/8 is the top, and then each side will be 3 1/8 by 1 1/2. So let me show you how that works. I have 2 pieces of cardstock. This one's the box bottom. It's 6 3/4 by 6 3/4. I've scored it at 1 3/4 on all 4 sides, and then I've already gone ahead and cut the flaps for this one. This is the top of the box. As you can see, it is, might be hard to see because it's the same color, but this one is 1/8 of an inch bigger. So I'm going to cut it the same way. I cut up my score lines, and then I'm going to cut a little wedge, cut out a wedge, and then cut that very straight, but hopefully you won't be able to tell when the box is all put together. Making boxes is one of the things I love doing. Custom boxes are so much fun. I'll show you another one that I made. Actually, I'm going to show you 2 other boxes that I made, that are made, one of them is made like this one, and the other one is made a different way. Get rid of this. And now what I'm going to do is furnish all my score lines. It's early for me. Well, it's not actually that early this morning. I'm just having a hard time getting started for some reason, which is why my voice sounds weird and my brain's not working quite right. So hopefully this box will work out. I haven't made a box for this before. If you haven't shopped at Lush, it's an amazing store. Everything in it is all natural. And when you use their products, this little pot, it's made out of probably cardboard. They recycle them. So if you save them and take them back, you get credit for the little pots that you bring back to them. And their products are all natural. They have soaps and body washes and shampoo. There's this one shampoo I get that's lemon something, and it's an actual bar, and I just love the smell of it and how it feels when I lather it up and put it in my hair. And then they also have some actual cosmetics. But I started with this for my cuticles. I haven't actually opened it yet, and I might be giving it as a gift, so I might need to order another one. But they are a really cool company. Unfortunately, there's not one in my town, so I have to go a ways to find one. So this is the top box. I'm going to put the bottom of the box together first. And I'm not putting the top together yet because I need to put the designer paper on it. I like to add designer paper before I put something together so that I can smooth it out well. And you can use liquid glue or tear and tape. I would use a strong adhesive anytime you're making a box. I would never use your like Stampin' Up! Calls it snail adhesive. Your lighter tape runners, you need one that's really strong if you're going to use a tape runner. And I think there's one out there, I don't know what it's called. Stampin' Up! Used to have it, and they called it Fast Fuse, but that's not what it's called in the outside world. So there's my box. I didn't bring any tissue paper. But I do have a napkin right here, so I'm going to show you with a napkin how I would do this. I would wrap this up nicely, stick it in there. The tissue paper, pretend this is tissue paper, stops it from sliding around. So there's my box bottom. And before I do the top, I'm going to put the designer papers on it. So this paper is called Birthday Bonanza. I think it's in the Stampin' Up! Mini catalog that's coming out beginning January 3rd. I love all the new papers in that catalog. So this is to put this on here because this is 3 3/8. I cut it down 1/4 of an inch, so this is 3 1/8 by 3 1/8. Sorry, I feel like I'm getting off camera. And again, the box is square. If it wasn't square, I would be very careful with my directional paper. So then I have 4 that are 3 1/8 by 1 1/2. I will put the dimensions in the description box below, so you don't need to write them down. And because this is directional, I want them all the same way, so I'm going to do them all facing up. This paper is fun. On the other side of it is presents. You can use any type of adhesive to adhere the designer paper. I just already have my liquid glue out, so I'm using it. The cardstock that I used is Bermuda Bay from the Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog. Oops, that's upside down. Good thing my glue wasn't stuck yet. That's a nice thing about the liquid glue also, is you have a few minutes to do it. So I have my paper on there. Now I can put my box together. Except, well, I shouldn't have done this yet, but that's okay. I can make it work. What I usually do before I put the box together, in addition to adding the paper, is decorate the top, because it's easier to do when it's flat than when it's three-dimensional. That's okay. Push those both in. And I always burnish a little bit because it helps the glue to seal better. Glue is actually bonding paper to paper. So to get this apart once the glue dries, you have to rip it up. So there's the top of my box, and it should fit perfectly because it's really just a 1/16 of an inch bigger when you split it on each side. One other thing that I'm going to do though is, because I made these the same height, just in case you have trouble getting the top off of the bottom, I'm going to do a little finger thing over here on each side. So I usually do like a half circle. This is a 1/2 inch circle punch from Stampin' Up. Hopefully I'm centered. If I'm not, nobody's going to know but me. And then I'll put this back on there. And then there's two different ways I do these. Either I would tie a ribbon all the way around the box, or I would just, and then there's not really any decoration needed. Or I can decorate the top. So I have stamped Happy Birthday with the Peaceful Moments stamp set that's also in the new mini catalog that's coming out next week, actually. That's pretty cool. And I was going to punch this with circles, but I thought it'd be fun to punch it with a balloon. So let's see. This is our balloon punch. It's got two different sizes of balloons on it. I'm going to try it with the bigger of the two. So I'm going to stick that in there a little bit at an angle. I didn't do it perfectly because I cut off part of my bottom, but that will not matter when I'm done. You'll see. And then I'm going to put this onto, what am I going to put it on? This has what looks like crushed curry in it, so I'm going to grab some crushed curry cardstock. And I'm going to punch a smaller balloon. And I have Bermuda Bay cardstock here already. So I'm going to punch out one of the bigger balloons. And I'm going to grab some white baker's twine. Oh, it's already there. Okay. So I'm going to put these, I'm going to like layer these up somehow on here. I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of these. Just one and one. Put that there. Put this here. And then I want this one to kind of go like this. So I'm just going to put a little strip of dimensionals way at the bottom. I want like half of a dimensional. This here, and I'm going to put glue on the top because it's going to be laying on top of that cardstock. It's the same height. So do that like that. This is where I would be. If it was flat, I'd be able to press it down. So I'll press it down by taking it off. And what else do I want to do? I want to add a bow. So when I'm doing a bow with baker's twine, our baker's twine is kind of thin, so I always make my bows double. It looks like I cut way too much. Better to have too much than not enough. So here we go. And I don't know how long I want those till I put it on there. I'm going to stick it on with a glue dot. Use my paper piercer and add this right here so it covers up my boo-boo that I made on the bottom of my balloon. And I think I'll do that. So there's my little box. Very easy, quick and easy to make. If I were making the lid out of just designer paper, I would not add the 1/8 of an inch. I would want it to be more snug. And I probably also would not make it as tall, so I would make it half as tall as the box. Let me show you another box that I did. Last week I did a video that was my calendars that I made. So inside this box is my calendar. And this is the box that I made for it. I make these boxes a little bit deeper because sometimes if I'm giving it to someone new, I have a fold-up easel I'll put in there with it. But otherwise I would make it just the height that I needed. I wouldn't make it extra tall. So I used 2 different papers and I cut a little slit. This is decorated all before I put the lid together. I cut a little slit here with an X-Acto knife and so I can put my ribbon through. It goes all the way around, covers up the seam. And then this is from the something poppies. Poppy Moments dies, which matches the Peaceful Poppies. I think they're called Peaceful Poppies. No, Painted Poppies stamp set. But this is standalone. You don't need the stamp set to use it. And then I always add the year to the top of the box when I give it as a gift. And normally I would cut these with my Silhouette Cameo, but my craft area was way too messed up and I didn't have room for it. So I found some number dies on Amazon. I don't remember which ones these are. I found several different ones and die cut my 2020. So that is that box. And I'm meeting my friend today for lunch who ordered this calendar from me. And then one of the little goodies I got for my husband for Christmas is this. We both love these cream-filled wafers, pyroline. I don't know the right way to say it, but we absolutely love these. So I got this box of them the other day. And this is the box that I made for it. This container was too tall to use even a 12 by 12 sheet of cardstock to create the box. So I did 3 sides of the box with a 12 by 12 sheet. It's a 4 by 4 box. Well, it's not quite 4 by 4 because I needed to add a little bit to put it together. So you can't, I don't know if you can see this right here on this side and this side. This back is a whole different piece, but when the box is put together, you don't really notice, especially with the striped paper. And then I made the lid to match it. And he came home before I got to decorate the box. So he got it just like this. It wasn't decorated in any way. My craft area is out in the open, so he saw it before I was done with it. But it's a really cool box. And this fits in here with a little bit of, it's perfect for the height. It has a little bit of space on the edges, which I maybe shouldn't have with this kind of box because I wasn't going to put tissue paper in it. And then this just goes on top. So we haven't opened this yet, but I can't wait till we do. I love these things. So that's it for my first custom box video. can think of 3 other ways to make the box, 1 short and 2 tall, so then there's way more ways than that. The next couple of weeks I'll do those 3 other ways, and then we'll see where we go from there. As always, if there's anything you'd like me to see create in a video, please let me know, leaving in the comments below. Or you can send me an email. I'll put my email address in the description box. Also, I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and everything I've used here today is Stampin' Up! Supplies. I would love to have you as a customer. You can check out my links below for purchasing any of these supplies, and I also would love to have you on my team. So I'll put a link down below for that also, or you can send me an email if you have any questions. And I think that's it. So Happy New Year, everyone, and have a wonderful day. Bye.